Hello and welcome to The Pitch, home of the greatest movie ideas on the internet.
Except no substitutes.
Today's pitch is for Suicide Squad 2.
We are the European People's Front! Crack Suicide Squad! Suicide Squad! Attack! That showed them, huh?
No, not that Suicide Squad. That'd be silly.
Seriously, the hell's wrong with you people?
We're bad guys. It's what we do.
Nothing really matters to me.
Yeah, that one. But hopefully better. We start with a flashback 10 years before. A scientist is pitching his latest invention to a group of government officials, including Amanda Waller. He's trying to make a super soldier serum. Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, no, I understand that's Marvel and this is DC, but you know what I mean. Something like that. Anyway, he injects it into the chimp, and something goes terribly wrong, and the chimpanzee becomes this grossly mutated abomination. No, not that one. That's Marvel again. I didn't mean. No. Yeah, like that. That'll do. We'll work with that one. That's fine. Anyway, the government and the military are horrified. They're absolutely disgusted, and Amanda Waller particularly is very, very angry, and she says to the scientist that she will not risk American soldiers' lives just so that he can play God, and in fact, she will make sure that he never gets any more jobs to do the military ever again.
Many months later.
Amanda Waller is briefing Rick Flag. Apparently, our scientist friend did not take no very well. He's found a military dictator in a faraway part of the world who is prepared to fund his experiments no matter how successful they are or they aren't. 2 American operatives have already been sent off to try and stop him before he completes his research, but they have not been heard from for a few days. And naturally, we're going to turn to the Suicide Squad. Why? Because we can't be seen to just be invading another country and doing military operations on their home turf. So, the Suicide Squad gives them plausible deniability.
It's 2 words, Mr. President. Plausible deniability.
And that, of course, is the whole point of the Suicide Squad, and something that was lacking from the first film. I mean, in the first movie, if there's other superheroes, then why would you send a bunch of criminals to do it who are incredibly unreliable? This time, though, if Superman flew off to another country, a military dictatorship, then it could start a war. Now, yeah, he could fight, but he can't be everywhere at once. So, of course, they can't be seen to be sending someone who other people might see as representing the United States. Makes a lot more sense. I think so, anyway. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Right. Who are we going to put in the Suicide Squad this time? Well, we're going to put in King Shark, because I really like King Shark. We're going to keep Killer Croc, just because I think King Shark and Killer Croc could have a good little 2 and 4th about like who's the stronger or who's the more powerful. We're also going to have Captain Boomerang again, just because Jai Courtney's only ever been good in one film, and it was Suicide Squad. And frankly, I just want to know if he still has his white, fluffy, pink-horned unicorn. He was kind of fun. We can involve him a bit more. We can use him a bit more. We're also going to bring back Katana, because the whole her sword steals the souls of the people it kills, and it killed her husband, that's very interesting. We could do some stuff with that. We can work out in those quieter little character moments in between the crazy action. We can have some interesting little thoughtful moments. I'm also going to use Mr. Freeze. Now, why? Well, I'm going to use Mr. Freeze because he's cool. You see what I did there? Yeah, anyway, right. But he's not like a beloved bad guy by Batman fans, is he? I don't think so. He's kind of goofy in the 60s show. And, dear God, Arnold Schwarzenegger's version. Arnold Schwarzenegger's not even the worst thing in that movie. Jesus. Anyway, the fact that he's not like beloved means that we can do a lot. We have a lot of options with him. We can do a lot of different stuff. He can betray the group, or we can kill him fairly early on if we want to. I don't think that would be a great loss to the DC cinematic universe. Or is it the extended universe? I'm not sure with DC anymore. Do they even have that? Or are they just all standalone films now? Anyway, we can do whatever we want with Mr. Freeze, and that's really useful. So all of our characters have the bomb implanted, and off we go. Flying out during the night to our remote, faraway military dictatorship. Obviously, apart from the characters that I've mentioned, we're going to have like a couple of lesser characters as well. Characters that don't really matter. And the moment that everyone abseils off the helicopter, we're going to have one of them make a run for it, and his head will explode. Why? Because we're going to presume that nobody saw the first one. I know it did reasonably well, but I don't think it's anything that's going to stick in a lot of people's memories. So we're just going to do the cliched thing of having one not believe that the bomb is real, try to run for it, and their head explodes, just because that's useful. It helps underpin what we're telling the audience already. It helps confirm what's going on story-wise, and also we get to have a head explosion, which is just always great, isn't it? It's what I want in a movie, in every movie from now on. The squad then make their way through the jungle, having small, quick little encounters with various patrol groups, and that allows us to have small character moments to develop everybody that we are supposed to genuinely care about. Think like Predator.
Son of a bitch is dug in like an Alabama tick.
You're hit. You're bleeding, man.
I ain't got time to bleed.
Oh. Okay. You got time to duck?
Speaking of Predator, that gives me an idea. We could even have the Suicide Squad take out a small outpost, sort of about halfway through the movie, whilst they're on their way to the scientists' base of operations. Yeah, if they take out the outpost, that means they can get some intel on the exact location of where the scientist is doing his experiments. And the squad make it through the jungle and find the scientist's base, but it is suspiciously quiet. There are some guards that they have to take out, but not as many as you might think, considering that this is an important political site. Political site? I don't mean political site, do I? But it's important for the dictator of the country. So, yeah, it's an important base. There's not a lot of guards. The Suicide Squad notice this. They make their way through the labyrinth of corridors, taking out any guards that they see along the way. And finally, they find the scientist. And Rick Flag begins to interrogate him. They need to know how far away he is from perfecting his formula, and also if anybody has copies of the work that he has done so far. The scientist now is quite mad.
Life! Life, do you hear me? Give my creation life!
And when they say how close is he to perfecting his formula, he says, perfecting? What are you talking about? It was perfect when I was still in America. That's when a whole load of soldiers barrel into the room and take the Suicide Squad prisoner. They're led to this massive hangar, think like an airport hangar, and then they're left there and they wait to see what's going to happen. Finally, a giant screen blinks into life and you see both the dictator of the country and the scientist. The dictator says, "How dare you enter my country without my permission? Who do you think you are? Blah, 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 blah. America sticking its nose in. Oh my God." You know, usual bad guy stuff.
You sly dog! You got me monologuing! I can't believe it!
And he says he wanted to kill them all. But, turns out, the scientist wants to test his mutants. But he doesn't tell the Suicide Squad that straight away. Instead, a door opens and a big rack slides in and they give them back their weapons. And then at the far end of the hangar, an alarm starts going off and the doors open and reveal the 2 spies that had gone missing. They are now horrifically mutated. The scientist narrates what we're seeing. He says that the mutations are always unique to the individual test subject, but that what is consistent is the brutality and complete lack of remorse or conscience in the subjects after they have undergone the treatment. The 2 mutants then attack the squad, but our anti-heroes come through and they kill the 2 spies. The scientist is annoyed at this, and so he hits a button that unleashes a much larger force of mutants. Think like in the first Halo game when you first meet the Flood. The squad then have to fight their way to the surface. During this fight, we're going to have a moment, and it's going to be quite a protracted fight scene. It's going to go through many different areas and many different sections of the building. So we're going to have some moments where the squad acknowledge that the mutants are in the same position as them, because the mutants are going to have control chips implanted in their neck, and we're going to see that after a few of them have been defeated by the squad. The contrast between Killer Croc, King Shark, Mr. Freeze and the mutants is an interesting element that we can use to help develop both the way we feel about the characters and the characters themselves. Killer Croc especially must always feel very isolated due to his medical condition, so he'll naturally have some empathy there. During their fight to the surface, they will find the scientist and the dictator. Mr. Freeze will betray the Suicide Squad here when the scientist promises that he can remove the bomb and the dictator promises to fund Mr. Freeze's research. When the Suicide Squad realizes that they've been betrayed, obviously they take their opportunity to kill all 3 of them, Mr. Freeze, the scientist, and the dictator. And then they carry on fighting their way to freedom. Finally, they make their way to an exit and they are destroying the base completely as they go along. They're throwing chemicals everywhere, starting fires, throwing grenades, anything, partly to destroy the base and the research there, but also to slow down the horde that's coming after them. When they get outside, Killer Croc, King Shark, Katana, Rick Flag are the only ones that are still alive. As they're walking away from the base that is just collapsing behind them, there's a sort of reluctant acceptance of their life and where their choices have led them. They acknowledge that all 4 of them are almost certain to die a violent death at some point. And Rick Flag points out that they were fighting each other yesterday. They'll probably be fighting each other again at some point in the future. But right here, right now, they're in it together. There has to be a sort of sense of camaraderie. Not only because of what they've gone through, but what they're going to go through. Because, as Rick Flag points out, they are still in the middle of the jungle and they're still going to have to trek for several days to get to an extraction point. And that is our ending shot. The mission complete, but still some work to get through. But the key point is that as the 4 of them jog into the jungle, there's almost a laughter between them, sort of as a stress release of what they've been through, what they're going through, and there is a sort of begrudging respect between all of the surviving members. So that was my pitch for the Suicide Squad 2. Let me know in the comments what you thought of my ideas. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I will see you next time on The Pitch.